Almost every entrepreneur has this thought that I'm tired of this job, or I'm stuck in this job, and maybe I think I should quit the job and start my own business because the business is cool. Entrepreneurship is easy, or you want to become your own boss. You want to control your timings. You want to get rid of a 9 to 5 grind, or you want to build something good and something big for you. But here is the truth: quitting a job does not make you an entrepreneur. Building a successful business does that. So before putting your resignations or handing over to your resignations to your boss, I want you to answer a couple of these questions which may change your entire decision. So let's understand those questions. So the first question which you need to ask yourself is, are you running away or are you running towards? Means, are you running away from your current job because you are frustrated, you are exhausted, or you are burned out? So if that's the case, you might not be ready for a business yet. But if you are running towards a big opportunity, you find an area or an opportunity which you think you can actually scale on that, and you ask yourself that if you love your current job, but you still want to build that particular business, and if the answer is yes, then yes, you are probably running towards an opportunity and you are not taking this decision out of the frustration or being exhausted in your current position. Question number 2 which you should ask is that, can your business replace your current income, or do you have a substantial backup of your existing household expenses? So this can be a little confusing, because when you start a new business, it might not be day one or a month one that your business income should replace your existing income. And the logic is very simple. In existing job, you might have spent a large amount of time period, because many of you might have done the job for 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years to reach where you reach today, and you are starting the business fresh from the day one. So your day one business would not be able to replace your 15 years of experience and expertise job income. But sooner or later, gradually and over the period of time, you would be mature enough in the business that your business income can replace your job salary. But you need to figure it out, and you need to take a very calculated decision to understand whether your business has that potential to reach and even outperform your current financial gains. And the next question is also very adjacent to your financial planning, that do you have a financial runway? Which means that once you start the business, so you will have two consequences. One, your current income, the immediate income will stop, and your expenses will continue the same way it was before. And the next thing is that your business income might take a little longer than expected to start actually floating into your bank account. And that means you might get barriers in paying your bills, your utilities, your gas, your housing, your insurances, your medical, your kids' education, or whatever the case might be. So you need to have the financial planning when it comes to taking your next business decision. So the next question number 4 is very important, that have you validated the business idea? This is very important, because you need to make sure that you are not taking an impulsive decision or an emotional decision, right? Like whatever the business idea you want to opt in, you need to make sure that that business idea has a validity in the market or has a demand in the market, and people are ready to pay a price for that product or a service, whatever you are offering in the market, so that you don't end up wasting your time, energy, and resources in a business or in a product, in a service which might not pay you well as per the market standards. So what will happen is that out of that desperation, you might end up taking bad financial decisions, like underpricing your product or service, or going cheap in the market, or compromising your product and service quality. So that can be very disaster for your business. Next question which you are going to ask yourself is that, do I understand the business and the business dynamics? That's very important, that you need to know what are your business like. Is it a D2C, like direct to customers, you are going to be the manufacturer, or is it B2B, B2C, or different other form of business models, which means you need to define your target audience. Then you need to validate the product requirements and demand in the market, that whatever the product you are going to sell or the service you are going to offer, that has a demand in the market, and the people are ready to pay the pricing which you are expecting to make a profits on for that product or service. And at the same time, you need to understand your competitor analysis, what your competitors are doing. You need to understand your operational analysis. You need to understand your financials, that what are the OPEX, like operation capital, required to keep running that business. Question number 6 which you need to ask is, can you handle the uncertainty? Because unlike the job where you are secured, no matter what happens in the company, as long as you have the job, you would end up getting your paycheck. But the business is uncertain. Every next client or customer, you need to hunt for it, you need to struggle, you need to grind, and you are still not sure whether that first or the next paycheck or a product revenue will hit into your account before the due date of your next bill, right? So there is a big uncertainty in the business until you make a sustainable and scalable growing business model. So you need to be fully prepared for that uncertainties in the business. The last thing which you need to learn is what should be your transition strategy. Like, you don't wake up in the morning and you just go and put down your papers in your job and you start the business in the next day. That's not how ideally or practically you should plan for that transition. That transition requires a very detailed strategic planning, which means you need to start building up your business from the scratch on the ground before you actually put down your papers and start testing, of course, based on your compliances and your if there is a particular job requirements or obligations, you need to keep that into the consideration. But generally, you start with the side hustle, you do the market testing, you do the understanding of the business, you do the business operations so that you understand the in and out of the business, and then only once the business becomes a little scalable or sustainable, or at least you see the impact of that business or the demand of that business product and service in the market, that's the time when you should start planning to put down your resignation. So here is my final advice, that you should not quit your job just because you are tired, exhausted or frustrated. Ideally, you should quit the job because your business is ready. And if you are serious about starting a business, but you need a further guidelines and help in order to understand what kind of challenges you may face, or what kind of opportunities you may have, and you need an assistance and help in order to build our systems for the business to make it a scalable, sustainable business, then you can book your next consultation, talk to my team, and let's see how we can help you in building a sustainable business for you. Thank you.